Hi everyone, it is Darren Hunter here and I have Dennis Youssef and our guest today, Madeleine Smith, who is a BDM all the way from Raine and Horne based on the Central Coast. And today, of course, the PM Growth Expert Show. This is our video podcast. We do have an audio version, which you can download from Spotify or from iTunes Podcast or Podbean. Just subscribe there. You can get that information. But before we launch and get things started, I just want to say a big shout out to a new exclusive partner with us, with IGT, Inspection Manager. Dennis, we had a really good time with Alan in a Zoom recently, having a looking at your new remote routine inspection app, which allows property managers in an office to liaise with the tenant. The tenant can take photos and drop them into the app. So in some ways, the property manager can actually can do a routine inspection from a desk. I never thought that was possible.
Yeah, I thought it was great. I thought, the way technology is coming these days, COVID, no COVID, whatever you want to call the pandemic that's coming, this system's here to stay.
Yep.
Madeleine was saying that they're doing the video stuff at routines, and that stuff's going to stay. Yeah, it is here to stay. And I also love what they're doing as well, Darren, is the electronic signatures that's becoming part of their process as well. So they've certainly created a product that's adapting to technology and society being mixed together, but as well as streamlining things really well. And we had a discussion with Madeleine earlier, and she was saying back in the day when she was a property manager, the support that they've got. It's not the first time I've heard what you were saying. You're at a house at 6 o'clock, and what was happening, Madeleine?
Oh, like if I was doing an outgoing and even little glitches were happening in the system. I remember I had James from Inspection Manager on speed dial. And he would stay on the phone to me until it was resolved, sorted. I finished meeting going. I was happy. He'd be like, are you in your car? Are you going home? Are you done?
That's perfect.
Their support, second to none across a lot of different platforms that we use.
Yeah, and I've got to say, Darren, it's not the first time I've heard that. So
that's good. That's good.
It's not about having it's not about selling a product and being over salesy. They've actually they deliver at the back end.
So you can have a great product, and if you can't support your clients or your customers when something goes wrong with it, or they don't know what they're doing with it properly, or the training's not implemented, well, then what's the point? Sorry.
And that's a stressful moment that you were in, and no doubt if that didn't work, you would have went back to your office and you would have said,
I would have gone home and would have won.
Let's move on, guys. Let's move on. And if you are interested in Inspection Manager, just go to inspectionmanager.com and ask for a demonstration. Have a look and see the system for yourself. I'm sure the guys will be very happy to show you. And that's over Australia, New Zealand, and also if you're in the United States, try them out. All right,
UK. And the UK.
Yep. Let's move on. Now, before I hand over the reins to you, Dennis, you recall it was about maybe September last year, so about 9 months ago, you and I were in Vegas.
February
last year.
February, March.
And I was walking down the street at about 10 at night. It was actually when we were doing our one-day Grow More Doors one-day session in Vegas. That's right, we were there for that. And I remember walking down the Vegas Strip on my own, 10 at night, lots of crowds of people everywhere, and suddenly it's Darren! And there is Madeleine running the other way, having recognized me out of these thousands and thousands of people on the other side of the planet.
Vision.
It was amazing.
It was like, oh.
But the thing is, Dennis, it was like, it wasn't, hey, going Darren, where's Dennis? Where's Dennis?
Well, and Madeleine and I met in 2014, and we formed a good friendship from day one connect. And no doubt I would hope that she was asking, where's Dennis? And it was really funny because I got the text messages from you guys. I think you sent me a photo, and I had all these property managers sitting at the casino. We're at the Mirage. And I said, guys, you think you've got good property managers in BDM. You're about to meet one of the best, And they were, we had a quick discussion, and That was actually our last night. So it was good to actually introduce an Australian.
No, I just got off the plane because my best friend, I just arrived. No, we'd driven from LA, but we just walked out of the hotel.
Yeah. Now let me add to that. So back in 2014, when Madeleine and I first met, it was actually at a conference that I was presenting at. And
remember the first thing you said to me after hi, how are you?
Why aren't you a BDM?
Yeah.
I recognise
time for context.
Yeah, I did recognise it straight away that you should have been a BDM, and I remember I was probing and asking you all these questions, and you started to tear up, and it's okay, we'll get you all embarrassed, you know, because, and I think it was, you know, you had a passion for the industry, but I was actually saying, actually, you're in the wrong position, you should be over here, right? And yeah, and then I remember a few months later when you rang me up and you said, guess what? And I was so happy. And your results have been proven, you know, so congratulations.
Can I just say that in the last 12 months, and congratulations, Madeleine, you did sign up 150 properties, or it depends on where you are, doors.
I do 150
so well done.
Yeah.
Well done. That's awesome. That's really, really, really good. And, you know, your energy, your knowledge for the industry, you are infectious. People meet you, they know they're in a room with you, right? And when you're dealing with a potential owner and they catch that and they see that you are knowledgeable and you've got a zest for life, that's a natural trust that you can't train, and you've naturally got that. So well done for having it. You know, it's really, you can train trust, but that natural ability is just something that you can't carry. So, and you do carry that. And
well, I know my conversion rate's significantly higher when I can actually get in front of the client.
Well done. Yeah, that's awesome. So why did you join real estate? What got you into real estate in the first place?
Why did I join real estate? Because I didn't want to be a checkout chick anymore, literally. I had a client, a customer, who worked at Coles. I used to serve him every week when he did his groceries. And then that was my first boss. He just walked in one day and said, I was on my lunch, on my tea break, but he just came in and left his business card and said, oh, you know, tell her to give me a ring. So then I just did reception, property officer, property manager from there. So it wasn't something I always strive to do, but I had finished school and I didn't want to finish school and go to uni and study just for the sake of it.
Yeah.
So as a lot of people kind of do.
There's nothing to be sorry about. The 3 directors of Inspired Growth Training, 1 was expelled from school, 1 was and 2 were university dropouts. So we didn't want to study either. So it's just one of those things. If you've got a zest and a passion for something, that you are going to succeed at it. You know, you certainly did. So tell us about your office. Tell us about the company that you're working for and your area.
With Raine and Horne, we're about an hour and a half, depending on how close you want to be to the beach, north of Sydney, New South Wales. My BDM role is probably a little bit different to most, where I don't just have to focus on the residential rent role. We also have a commercial division as well as holiday management. So I get to have a bit of a more varied conversation with clients about what they need, but it's really good because it means they might just come to us for one residential investment property, but they might also have factories or commercial spaces. They might also, a lot of people have holiday homes up here that they use themselves from time to time up from Sydney or what have you, but obviously need the guest bookings throughout the year as well. So kind of a one-stop shop, I suppose.
And that's I guess that's no doubt handy during your presentations or when you're speaking to people as part of your spiel, to let them know that, you know, you have specialty areas within.
And I suppose the idea is, you know, for me as BDM, you know, I welcome them to the business on whatever one of those levels it might be. But then I can also manage those relationships between different departments if they need additional services. So it's good, and it's a good point of difference as well, because a lot of our competitors, you know, they'll do holidays, but they won't do permanent rentals. They'll do commercial, but they won't do residential. So
okay, that's awesome. So what year did you join real estate?
2009.
2009. Okay, so wow, I've actually found someone. I've been in real estate longer. That's a rarity. I started in 2008, so I've only just beat you, right?
I finished high school in 2008. So.
Yeah, that's cool. So I've worked out your age, and you don't know mine, unless Facebook tells you. You know, if going into the office, you know, you remember that first day when you're walking in, no doubt you had nerves or excited nerves to doing something different, becoming an office, you know, rather than working in Coles, you know, that first day going in, you know, if you were to be tapped on the shoulder and it was Madeleine Smith tapping you on the shoulder, what advice would you give yourself when you're about to first walk in? What's that advice?
I answer that question a number of different ways, because that first day I was just a receptionist and I, at that point, didn't know I wanted to make a career of real estate, but probably more relevant for anyone watching this, when I first stepped into the BDM role.
Yep.
And I think the most important thing would be to really understand and treasure the relationships you've already got, and work on those, because they're gold. And then just you follow up, follow through, and know how important that is.
Yeah.
You have a lot of conversations with people that you don't think anything of at the time. But if you just, you know, pick up the phone again 3 months later, 6 months later, and continue that, obviously now I've been doing it for a while, they just naturally come back to you. You've got to maintain that relationship.
It's certainly about connecting with those clients, you know, whether you're talking about sport, babies, cars, whatever. It's having that connection and building those relationships is really important. Now, congratulations, you're one of quite a few people that I know that have started as reception and worked their way up into a BDM position. And tomorrow you were sharing what's happening tomorrow for you.
I'm taking on a role to oversee the department.
So reception, working your way up through the ranks. Congratulations.
We're doing some restructuring, and I'm just going to oversee the department for a little while and make sure it goes the way we want it to go, to make sure we can, you know, keep serving our clients and keep them.
Well, people have obviously, your bosses obviously saw something in you. You know, I know some, Laura Leveson is one of the most successful. We all do, right? We all know her really well, and she started in reception. Simone Curley's another amazing person that we know, and again, somebody started on reception. You know, we don't give enough credit to the receptionist, whether it's an
it goes a long way, and I think, you know, you can really understand how everyone works together if you've done it.
Yeah.
It's different, you know, to a certain degree in every office, but it helps you manage it better and more effectively when you actually know what that role is like on a day-to-day basis in practice, rather than just in theory.
Yeah. Okay. So if you were to start from scratch, if you were to go out and start your own business on your own, what do you think would be the 3 key things that you would be working on in building those relationships and growing, getting those doors to come through?
Just, I suppose, working on those relationships that you've already got, and expanding them and doing what you can to grow, you know, from 1 person to 3 people. It's 6 degrees of separation, as they say.
Yep.
But I think focusing, you know, tradies, conveyancers, there's so many people that you see and speak to in business, but then there's also personal friends and cafe owners and other people that aren't necessarily in your business line of sight that can have an influence on other people that choose to do business with you. So, like, I always wear my name badge, always.
Yeah, I was a bit of an anti-name badge person, Darren. And
I didn't used to, but
I used to be an anti-person on them, and I got challenged. Yeah. And I wore a name badge, and by crikey, I picked up a management.
Except every single day without fail, someone says hi to you and uses your name, and you don't know who they are.
Yeah. So let me dig a little bit deeper. So you're talking about you know, to the 3 strategies you're talking about, the connections and picking up the phone, how else would you be building relationships? What other ways would you be doing? Things would you be doing?
So because of where we are, a lot of people will be moving out of Sydney. And so I think that the conversation for me goes beyond just real estate.
Yep.
So, you know, it's a big thing that they're committing to. They're relocating areas. They're often moving their kids' schools. So I think really making people feel comfortable with that whole decision and sort of unofficially partnering with, you know, cafes and pubs and being able to say, oh, okay, you're living here, this is your new local, or this is a cool spot to, you know, a nice lookout, or giving them other things to do. And it's more of than friendship, I suppose.
Yeah, you know what I like it. You know what I like it.
Relationship.
That's cool. You know what I like in this, Darren? What I'm trying to highlight here, and Madeleine, you keep emphasising that personal touch. You haven't mentioned social media once. Okay, so yes, it's social media.
I'm not big on social media. It's a really passive, natural thing that I do. Have you seen it? Have you looked at my Instagram today? Did you see what I did earlier?
No, I've actually gone from a 2-hour Instagram session that we just did, right? And I had to drive to pick my daughter up from work, and I came here, so I haven't had a chance.
Quick segue. I drove my car off the side of a driveway at a routine inspection. Apparently it happens all the time, so I'm going to get that fixed. But my boss drove past, obviously took photos, so then I had to get in front of him and I had to put it on socials before I sent it to my whole team.
Okay, wow.
Yeah,
so
but again, I guess that's just something that's happened in my day. Like my photographer, Andrew, he says to me, oh, I could follow you around and just kind of video what you do in a day, because it's kind of entertaining sometimes.
That's awesome. So I know that you're not big on that social media stuff, and that, you know, it's rare that we do come across people that continue to build relationships face to face.
I'm big on social media from a connection point of view, but I don't rely on it to keep it going. Like every single tenant that applies for a rental property with me gets a friend request.
Okay, wow, you're breaking all the property manager rules there, aren't you?
If I can just jump in, you know, well done, Madeleine. I think one of the things, Dennis, that you've really pushed hard is pick up the phone, talk to people, because you and I know, and we've spent a copious amount of time and training on teaching people how to grow their property management business using social media, and we're still getting through our series at the moment, Grow, Influence, Dominate. We did the how to grow a powerful brand in property management using Instagram today with the amazing Kat Sands, 14,000 followers or whatever. But I think, you know, social media has its place, and for anyone that's interested in getting that, we've got, I don't know, Dennis, we've probably got 20 hours of just how to grow your rent roll using social media. Just go to inspiredgrowthtraining.com, just go to the member, become a member, or just have a look there. We got information on that. But I think the next level, and people just don't realize there is something more powerful than social media. And Madeleine, that's what you're doing.
Yep. Social media, like you said, is just one of the avenues. Yeah, she does really well.
You don't rely on it. It's like your friends, right? Before we all started using Facebook as a business tool, which it's fantastic for me for business, don't get me wrong. But when Facebook was first Facebook and we all connected with people, we connected with people that we already knew. We didn't use it like LinkedIn as a tool to meet new people. We just, I already know you. Cool, here's your sandwich. It's the same kind of thing. It's just another level of connection and a way to stay, I think, in the forefront of people's minds.
Top of mind.
You know, I don't post on my listings. I post some results and things every now and then, but it's more just, that personal connection, I think.
Well done. You know, that was one of the things that Kat was sharing. Don't post your listings. She actually had it in capitals, in cap locks. Don't post your listings, like, you know. It's cool, you know. And again, it's having a dabble in everything, it's becoming that top of mind, etc., to continue to do that. You know, COVID, obviously we've come and gone, or we're in it, or we're not in it, or we're in a recession, or whatever we're in. One thing that impressed me when we caught up and had a conversation a couple of weeks ago was when I was asking, okay, what numbers are you doing and stuff? And you said you're still doing the same numbers as what you're doing before, as what you are.
Completely.
And
I've been doing the same numbers since I first stepped into the BDM role.
And congratulations on that. You know, you kind of went, oh, well, blah, 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 blah. And I went, hang on a minute. This is actually a really big thing, you know, that you're still doing it. And it goes to show the strength that you've got in your pipelines, your referral partners, your sales agents. You're talking about those connections that you're having with baristas, coffee shop owners, whatever the case, you know, bars, pubs. As long as you've got a
business cards.
Yeah, that's important. That stuff is important. So, and you know, the social media, you've stuck to it. You've had your top of mind, and that business was still coming in as a streamline. Darren, so many people that we've been speaking with, their numbers went down.
Yeah, absolutely.
Their numbers went down.
And that tells me a lot about, you know, you're doing something that really is very real, Madeleine, and that connection and referral. It's very hard to beat that. And I think social media represents a digital version of that personal touch, but just that human contact, you can't beat it. You can't beat it.
It's like a police sign with a leaf sticker. You drive past it, but if your clients aren't around, then your social media is that next level of social proof.
Yeah.
In confidence in what I'm saying and doing, or we're saying and doing.
Yeah.
COVID, I think it was all, for me, we were quite geographically blessed because a lot of people coming up from Sydney, and they still are, but a lot of it was attitude. I know a lot of agents that were really freaking out about it. And I don't know how many phone calls I had from current landlord clients under management, or people who were in that stage where they're about to list their property, being really apprehensive and hesitant and wondering what to do and should we put it on hold, and the long conversations that were had. But ultimately I was able to give them that confidence to say, well, this is our job as agents, is to respond to what the market's doing. COVID's just another influencing factor on the market we work within, and we're trained and we continue to train to respond to it appropriately. So yeah, sure, maybe we had a reduction in rent for a period of time, but that's real estate.
Yeah, but your growth was continually stable.
I've worked through different markets, so it was just another market shift.
You stayed stable. You know, we're going to be doing a podcast with Sarah in the coming days, and she's another person that her numbers actually increased. You know, she's done a great job.
If everyone around her is in panic mode and she's confident and, you know, happy to keep going, then yeah, that's what will happen.
Yeah, and that's what you've done. You've stayed confident. You've worked in all the different markets. It's like, you know, we kind of had a panic. Darren, myself, and Michael went, okay, if tenants aren't paying rent, agents aren't getting paid, we're going to be out the door too, right? So, you know,
to get cut, yeah.
So
well, there's two ways of two schools of thought there.
Well, so we just took charge and educate.
Yeah.
Take charge, educate, calm. You know, so if you've done that, that's, you know, that can be really good. So Madeleine, you turn out to work on Monday, and the bank gives you a call, and they said, you know, we're going to close the business down, so you and everyone else in your office is going to lose their job unless you can bring in 7 new properties. What do you do?
7. Oh. Just ring everyone I already know, existing clients, friends, baristas. I just think there's so much gold in those existing relationships that not many people spend the time digging into. So people already know you, they already trust you, they already have confidence in you. They're going to be your easiest source to pull new business from or pull referrals from. You just have to ask for it sometimes.
It's, again, Darren, you're hearing the synergy here. It's picking up the phone, you know. It's not sending an email or a newsletter or, you know, whatever the case.
This is selling at its purest, isn't it?
Yeah.
What was that?
Selling at its purest. It's all about developing trust, isn't it? It's all about, you can't do a transaction without trust. And what you're doing is the fastest way and the best way and the most effective way is to get maximum trust with people so a transaction can actually occur.
Mm.
And ultimately, I don't want to do business with a client that doesn't have that trust in me.
Yeah,
Long term.
We would like to do a psychological analysis on some of the potential landlords that we're dealing with. Have you ever had a property manager say to you, why did you sign that person up?
Why did you sign that person up? Look, as in if I brought a new client to the business and then the property manager's having, I try to match my property managers with the clients less on a geographical level and more on a communicative level. I'm pretty good at adapting to different personalities.
Yep.
I find typically property managers aren't, so that's something I'm mindful of when I'm matching clients up. But yes, I've absolutely had property managers say that to me. But our business structure sort of allows us to, if that isn't working, we can assign
shift them off.
And I
completely
acknowledge that not everyone gets along.
Yeah.
A question here I'd like to ask, matching up. So you've got a client, how do you match them up? What's some tips here about matching up to property?
Well, you know how you have some clients that are just very direct, and I know that maybe a younger property manager might take that the wrong way and think that they're being a bit too aggressive, for example. I've got a client I've been working with at the moment, she just loves to chat, and I love to chat, and we could just talk about anything and everything. And if I gave her a property manager who was very, sorry, I've only got 4 minutes to do this, it just wouldn't gel. So I've got to know that person needs to have a bit more
personality style. So it sounds like a disc profiling thing there as well. Well done. Another question for you that has just come up through this conversation. So transition from BDM to property manager, handing over a client, what are some hints and tips to make sure that the transition is as smooth as possible? Because you've gained the trust with these clients. Now you have to hand them to someone that they don't know. How do you make it?
I think that's the most crucial part of the whole process. And ultimately, they trust the property manager because I trust the property manager and they trust me.
Yeah.
So they know, I don't manage any properties on an ongoing basis, and neither does my other BD, but we don't go anywhere. So if they need something and they can't get through to the property manager or whatever the case may be, they can still ring us. And I think there's just that level of, this is your property manager, this person is going to be looking after you moving forward, but I'm still here. It's almost just like that little safety net of, I'm not fully palming you off. And I still call them and I check in every, 3-6 months or so. I'll check with the manager first before I make that call. But
so you have that as a KPI? Because that's one of the things I wouldn't mind bringing up. A KPI. No. So you're calling the agents, the landlords that you've signed up. That's part of your job as you continue to keep in touch with them.
Yeah, I mean, I don't measure it. It's not a KPI from my business, like my boss or anything.
Yeah, but it's something that comes natural to you, right? So it's Madeleine's KPI in calling her owners still twice a year.
Yeah, well, it's like if I miss a listing and it goes to another agent, I'm still going to call that client every whatever so often. Why should that be any different just because they're within my own business? In fact, should that not be just as important?
It's interesting you say that, because no doubt another agent lost the business, and guess what? They should be calling them even though you're
exactly. The amount of times I speak to clients and they say, oh, you're not even, or your business isn't even managing my property, and I hear from you more often than I hear from my managing agent. Well, doesn't that tell you something? And I've got, a handful, 10, 12 clients who are managed by competitor agents, but call me for advice. The agent's saying I should put the rent up. Should I? And it's like, why are you calling me? Ready to sign that agency agreement yet? No.
That's cool. That's a good thing, So congratulations on that. On doing that. And I think a lot of things just naturally come to you. You don't even realise that you brought up before. Oh, it's not a KPI, but it is for you. It's in your head. It's
subconsciously.
it's been drilled in to follow up. Oh my goodness, Darren, what is the stat of people not following up? It does my head in.
Most people don't. We've got a secret shopper right now making hundreds of calls to offices, and we can't even get them to pick up the phone.
I can't work it out. People go, thank you for calling me back. I'm like, yeah, you rang me and said you wanted to do business with me. I'm going to ring you back.
50% aren't picking up the phone, or they're simply not returning when the receptionist leaves a message. They're not returning. So it's huge numbers. Dennis, I'm just wondering if I can just jump in on another question here. So we generally go through, when we do these PM growth podcasts, we have a set structure of questions, and we've had to deviate a bit today because one big, Madeleine brings in those 10 to 15 properties a month. Congratulations. But I knew that she has a sales team there. And when I said, well, you use the sales team, this is before we pressed the recording button, she looked at me puzzled like, what? I mean, okay.
I rely on them. They trust me. They have confidence.
It was like, I don't even use the sales team. I don't rely on the sales team for business. So Darren, she's looking at me puzzled, and this is all referral. So let's talk about referral business and the power of referral business. So is it fair to say that referral businesses, of course, is from high trust, okay? And a trusted source, or you've developed trust. So it's very, very warm. People like you, you're really good. So under that environment, how often are you asked to discount your fees, or is that not even in the formula? Is it just something that's just no big deal because you've got such high trust with everybody?
I mean, look, it's a question that I've certainly had it in a market appraisal, but at the end of the day, do they want to do business with me or not? If they do, this is what they want. This is what they'll pay. If they don't, I won't get into a fee argument most of the time, because if they want a cheaper agent, I'd much rather let them go to the cheaper agent and come back to me at full fee in 3 to 6 months' time than secure them up front on a lower comp or a lower fee. It's going to be more profitable for our business long term. And property management, this is where the BD role versus sales role is so different. Sales, you miss a listing, it's gone, it's sold, that person doesn't own it anymore. Property management, business development, you might not get it now, but you'll get it eventually.
Yeah. And following up your clients is something that you do as a regular basis. So if they don't list with you, and you're doing the follow-ups, and they're not hearing from their current agent, they see that value, and you knew your worth at the beginning. They now learn that worth the hard way. They'll work it out.
But I think they read that in you when they start asking about fees. Some people will ask for a fee reduction just because they feel like they should. But I think they read it in how you respond. If you're like, oh, look, no, sorry, this is just what we charge, and we do a fee review every year, and we're aware we're slightly more expensive than some of our competitors, but if this is what you want, this is what you need to pay, and you don't sort of shake, and you don't go, oh, sorry, I don't know, let me check with my boss and come back to you, and I don't need to check anything with anyone, this is what we charge.
Yeah, so let me just make comment on that, where you said that, you mentioned that you are higher than everyone else, that you're slightly more expensive. Please continually check. One of our secret shoppers reports that we did for a very, 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 very good agent, and Darren and I and Michael hold this person in high regard, knowing that they are one of the best agents going around, and they were passing on potentially 10 managements a month, saying to the person, if we are the dearest in the area, if you want a cheaper agent, pass it on. After we completed the report, they had soon realised they were the best service, but not the most expensive. So they were passing on all of this money, and it was,
It's only until the secret shopper report revealed that, because they actually thought they were expensive, but the secret shopper report to them with 10 of their competitors revealed otherwise, and actually showed them a different truth and able to have a different.
You've got to know what your competitors are doing. You've got to know exactly what everyone else that a client is likely to compare you to is offering.
Well, you need to know what your points of differences are.
If I can just do a quick plug for people out there, this is our PM Growth Experts podcast series. We actually do have another podcast series Just remember secretshopperfiles.com. That's secretshopperfiles.com. Go there and you'll be able to see we've got the Secret Shopper Files podcast show on Spotify, Podbean, and iTunes podcast as well. And that's where we call up 10 competitors in a marketplace, and we just talk about the results without revealing any agency names or giving away any sensitive information like that. It's a shocker, Dennis, some of the things that we come across.
Darren, I've been listening to a lot of the phone calls of late, and it is absolutely surprising how many people just say, I'll send it in an email, or I'll, go to our website and have a look. Yeah. Oh, whatever it is. So it might be how many routines you do. Oh, it's on our website. I'll send you the link. Like, once you've got them on the phone, right? Don't get them off the phone and send it to your website.
We've got the Wellington files coming up. We're about to release that this week, and that's podcast number 5. And we're shocked at the amount of people that were on the phone that you could tell they weren't BDMs, Madeleine. They were busy property managers. They were busy property managers where growth was a pain in the backside and inconvenience to them. And they were trying to get people off the phone as quick as they could and saying, just look at the website. The information you want is there, and more or less saying goodbye. And we didn't get that with 1 or 2. We found that consistently nearly across all 10 offices that we called in Wellington, New Zealand.
But because they don't have BDs, right?
I just think it's because all the property managers are too busy to even want new business, and it's a pain. And so it was a real shocker. I guess it showed me the importance of having a quality BDM like yourself on that front line, capturing the prospects, shepherding in, and then taking them to the shepherd, the property manager, to then look after their property. It's so important.
And the property managers need to see new business coming to the portfolio as a good thing. Oh, good, this is another person I get to work with. This is another property I get to look after.
I hope so.
Another tenant I get to ensure has a great experience.
They're not focused on new business, nor do they.
Another ingoing.
Well, that's right. Now, Madeleine, you successfully went from property manager to BD, right?
Thank you.
Well, let's say I was just a guide, okay? You did all the work. It's a different mindset. You've already just said, you hit the hammer on the nail. The property manager should be excited about looking after another client. You obviously had that, right? You obviously had that attribute, and that's what's helped made you be a good BDM, because you're very good at educating people. You're very good at, gaining that trust.
Under promise, over deliver. And that was something I struggled with, stepping from the PM role into the BD role, because I would sort of sell what I would do as a PM, but you need to know how your team works.
Yep.
And if you get your clients' expectations aligned with the realities of the business, and you know where your strong points are, then you can give them a really good experience.
So you spoke about experiences of what you did and what the team does, not about what I can do for you anymore, right?
Well, I'm not the one managing their investment at the end of the day.
That's right.
I'll help them set it up. I'm here to make sure they get the most out of it. I'm here to make sure they compliant. But in terms of the big picture and what they're trying to achieve, that's down to the property manager to understand the client's goals and help them get there.
Yeah, a credit to you. I don't think people realise that when they are a property manager, they are very good negotiators. Being a BDM is about negotiating to get in front of the door, in front of the client, because you said it earlier, Madeleine, that when you get in front of the client, you know that your conversion rate's higher.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a negotiating process.
Hard to say no to someone face to face, right?
It's that trust factor, right? Or do a Zoom meeting and have a Zoom meeting if you can't get face to face with them. Negotiating. You're negotiating with tenants to pay the rent. You're negotiating with tenants to apply for your property, not the rival one. You're negotiating with the tenants. No, they can't have 5 dogs, 6 cars, 3 caravans, and 16 trailers in the backyard.
No, that's not an urgent repair.
No.
Without one light switch.
So your negotiating skills as a property manager are up there, right? And once you become a BDM, it's just that mind shift of it's not me anymore. This is how we do it, and your negotiating continues on. It's just in a different variation.
Yeah, I just think a lot of clients, like, they don't know what they don't know, so a lot of it's education and as well.
Yeah, well done. That's really good. I mean, we've got, you know, another successful BDM that we know, Darren, and she's also done a, you know, she's been part of the PM Growth Expert Show, is Shoshana. You know, Shoshana, we all know Shoshana. She's an amazing person. She's gone out on her own now, and it was just like you, Madeleine, looked her in the eye and said, why are you a property manager? You should be a BDM. And
we're all into property management, I think, and I don't know. The BD role doesn't exist in every business, so
no, it doesn't.
Oh, well, they did by the time I left. But like when I first got into real estate, the office I worked for didn't have a BDM. Okay. It did by the time I left, but it's not in every office. So
no, it still isn't, you know. And there's certain skills that a property managers are capable of being good BDMs. It's just having that mindset shift. Once that phone rings and it's a new landlord asking questions, you're not a property manager anymore. You're a salesperson for the property management department.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, which is really, it's really good.
We're just selling a, you know, service rather than a product, if you will.
Yeah.
In the house. Yeah.
So guys, I think we should wrap this up. I've just got one last question for you, Madeleine, unless there's something else you want to go through, Dennis. But so let's just say you're on stage at the Inspired Growth Conference, and you've only got 2 minutes to speak to a crowd of BDMs or people that grow the business. What's the most important thing that you would say to them? What's the most pressing thing that you would like to impart to them?
Have I spoken at one of your conferences before? I can't think.
Not yet.
Definitely me. What's the most important thing I would say to a crowd of BDMs? Did I already say follow up? Follow up. Like, be the person that calls. And so a lot of people will ask me, like, what plan do I put clients on and how often do I call them? But there is no fixed answer to that in my mind, because it's so dependent on the individual client and their circumstances. So based on that conversation that you have with them at that point, when should you call them again? There's no rule. There's no 3 months, 6 weeks rule. It's the outcome of that conversation. Make your notes. If their property's on the market, call them more frequently. How'd your open home go? I don't know. I haven't heard from my agent yet. You know, or 3 months, how'd your first inspection go? I don't know. I haven't heard from my agent yet. It's a softer approach, but I think follow up and genuinely care.
Yeah, having that empathy, right?
Like, I actually do care if your property's vacant. Why isn't it let?
Yeah, can I just
generating an income?
Yeah, well done. I mean, that's some sound advice to give to people. I've just gone through the process of moving. I've got empty boxes behind me. Can I just say, moving is one of the hardest things you can do, and we need to have empathy on an owner when they've just moved out of a home and their property is empty. They're stressed already, let alone having to worry about a tenant being then put into place to cover that mortgage or whatever. You know, it is a stressful time for people. So empathy is a very, very good point. So I'm glad that you did bring that up.
On an individual basis, because everyone's different.
Yeah.
And everyone has different pain points, and some people are stressed about getting an extra $10 a week, and some people are stressed about having a vacant property for a week or whatever.
Awesome.
Depends on their past experiences are.
Yeah, look, some great tips, great advice. You know, follow up, pick up the phone.
Yep.
Well done. You're a natural, Madeleine.
I sound really basic. I don't know.
No.
If
what's easy for you? Sorry, Darren. I'll just say, what's easy for you? You find it easy, right? Is difficult for others. It's because you're a natural at so much. It's the norm. That's your norm, right? Is getting this. Like your COVID, numbers were up still because you were still doing the norm, right? All of a sudden, people are just ringing, right? You might not feel like you're prospecting as much because you're naturally doing all of this stuff on the sites that comes normal to you. that other people aren't even doing. And that's why when we're asking questions, you're kind of going, I can see you thinking that's easy, it's a no-brainer. Phone, do this, because it is, and it does come natural to you. So well done. So yeah, it's really good. Sorry, Darren, you're going to...
No, that's fine. I just want to say, we got to finish this up. But Madeleine, if people want to ask you a question, reach out or whatever, what's the best way to contact you?
0455 781 422.
And for you got people,
so I'm like
overseas people, take out the 0 at the front and put +61 for Australia.
Yeah.
And
I'm more than happy.
in the middle of the night now. So
that's okay. That'll be all. I get lots of new BDMs ringing me asking for tips and stuff, and it's nice. Cool.
What's that number again? So it's +61 and
+61
0. What is it?
55 781 422. Cool. I'm happy to chat. I love a chat.
You're gonna have people texting you at 3 in the morning.
It'll be right. I mean, I gave Madeleine a quick call a few weeks ago just to say hello, and I think we're on the phone for about 45 minutes. That's just life, right? Don't be sorry. That's what friendship and relationships all about, and that's why and you do that with your owners. You're going to continue to build a lot of relationships and win more business. So well done.
So just also, you may want to become friends. You've probably got 5,000 friends, but your Facebook profile, Madeleine Smith, Raine and Horne, it's probably not very focused there, but it's Madeleine Smith, Raine and Horne, and connect with her on Facebook as well. And
Insta, so you can all laugh at me from this morning at Madeleine Smith BDM.
Okay, cool. All right. Well, thank you so much, Madeleine. Dennis, you did very well. Thank you. And thanks for your time, Madeleine. Really impressed. And thank you for being part of the PM Growth Expo Show.
Thank you for having me.
Cool.
And thank you for pushing me to be a BDM in the first place, Dennis.
No problem. Love seeing the results.
All right. Take care, everyone. Thank you.
Bye.